Last week for me was really tough. I was struggling more with identifying what exactly I want to do with my life. I'm the type of person who reads herself more than anybody else or anything else. But I learn from my own behavior, from my own pattern, from my own mistakes more than anything. And in today's video, I'm going to talk about the same thing. And I think that's the best example of the best way to tell you guys, because I do not want to quote anybody. I just want to put myself as an example for you to learn from it. Last week for me was really tough. And even though I was very productive on the out front, I was taking all the calls that we had to take on Zoom. I was talking with my team. Everything was on the front was going smooth, but internally I was fighting a a battle of, like, in some definitions people would call it existential crisis, but I don't want to make it so philosophical. But I was battling a bigger question in my head, which is, why do I do what I do? And this is not the first time that a question like this kind of like has overshadowed my entire work. But last week it was terrible. Then one day what I did is I had a talk with my own self. And I'm sure you guys have heard that a lot of people do that, but the way I do is in my mind. I actually feel that there is another Hira sitting in front of me, and I am her own shadow. And I start talking to myself. I start asking questions to that Hira, what exactly she wants to do in her life, how, whatever she has done so far, what was the biggest motivation behind it, what were the things that was driving her, what was the thing that she felt she could have done better, or that she felt that she did better. And the moment I started doing that, the moment I felt that this entire space where I work, it was just making me so lonely in a way that I didn't have anybody else to talk about my work. And this is something that I kind of like feel is one of the hardest things about entrepreneurship, freelancing, and solopreneurship. When you're working in an office space, when you're sitting with somebody, when you're talking to somebody on the day-to-day basis, even if it's your colleague, even if the person is in your team or not, but you still have another human who you are talking to. But when you're working as a full-time freelancer, you're working remotely, and it comes with a lot of advantages as well, but you just don't interact with humans at all. And I'm the type of person who does not need energy from people. I am totally okay if I'm working alone. But that exchange that exchange of dialogue, that conversation that you randomly have, like on a Friday morning, sometimes it pulls you out from the mental space or the mental fog that you're in. And that's what I was going through that day. And Zoom doesn't do that. Zoom, no matter how much you're talking to somebody on Zoom, it helps sometimes. But that connection, that being around humans, being around somebody who you can share, who you can talk, who you can just tell how your day is going, it is so much important. And that day when I became that other person for myself, it just helped. I did that at least I think at 2 p.m. in the noon, and later until like 8 p.m. I was working like a crazy. I felt that somebody like cleared the fog from my mind. And again, I didn't process it at that time because I thought it just helped, and I think I just kind of like meditated and sat down for a while and it helped. But later, I think after 2-3 days, I realized that what I was doing that day was basically talking to somebody. Even though I was thinking that it was just me versus me, but letting those things out, letting those emotions out, letting those discussions out, it helped me. It helped me actually turn my day around. And so many times when it happens, I wasn't able to figure out that if it was this reason or if it was something else that was bothering me. Now I feel that every single time I'm feeling that I have a brain fog and I'm not able to focus on my day at all, I just try to think who I can talk to. I just try to think if I can change my space, if I can leave home and go to a co-working space or go to a cafe and maybe just be around people to see if I take an energy from them. Because right now maybe my energy is at 0%, maybe I'll take somebody else's energy and start working. And that was the light bulb moment for me. So I just wanted to make this video and put this thought out there, that this is one of the hardest things about entrepreneurship, solopreneurship, freelancing, whatever you want to call it. 80% of the time is really good, but 20% of the time it's just lonely as F. Like you don't even realize how tough it gets when you feel that you're working in a silo, when you feel that although everything is from the surface is going well, that you've had a productive day, but you just didn't talk to any human. And the next day it is gonna be same, and the next day after it's gonna be same. So as much as I love doing this, sometimes I just miss that part of the life where I have that liberty to do so. And when I'm not living in Pakistan and when I'm traveling, I sometimes do that because I just go out, take a walk and come back. But that's one thing that we don't get to do in Pakistan at all. We just don't have the liberty to just go out, take a walk and come back and start working again. So yeah, this was one thing that I wanted to share. Not the type of video you see on this channel, but I think it is the same thing that I'm doing with you guys. I'm talking to myself to let this discussion out so I feel better. I would love to have the discussion with all of you on this. If you feel the same way, if you've been in the same position as a freelancer, as a remote worker, or anything, how do you come out of it? Do you just talk to yourself the way I did, or do you do something else? I would love to know. Thank you so much for listening to me. Not the type of content that you see here, but if you're still watching, thank you for being here. I will see you in the next video. Yeah, bye bye.